The National School Nutrition Program contract with Pacina Retail appears to have been terminated. Lethiwe Mdluli, the ANC KZN Provincial Secretary, made this announcement during a press conference. Now, according to Mdluli, the initiative was on the verge of failing and needed immediate corrective action. Thousands of schools have not been receiving food in April. Our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli is tracking that story and joins me now. Lethiwe, what are some of the highlights from the briefing earlier?
Well, William, we've heard a lot from Lethiwe Mdluli, and one thing that he has shared that I think is very, very important is the fact that the contract has been terminated. There are processes underway where the Department of Education here in the province will be terminating the contract. It's a 2 billion rand contract that has been awarded to a company named Pacina Retail. Now, there's been a lot of information that's out there regarding awarding this company the tender. Firstly, when we started with the story, we heard from principals from a lot of communities in the province who were basically crying over the fact that food had not been delivered to many schools across the province. Approximately 5,444 schools depend on the school nutrition program. So that's the amount of schools that did not receive food when schools reopened for the second term. And following that, which was about 2 weeks ago, there's been many developments in the story. We found out that the company that was awarded this tender had never done any sort of job when it comes to delivering food to schools in the province. And also, William, there were many questions as to why the Department of Education awarded just a single company this tender, which is quite big. We do understand that over 2 million children in the province depend on the nutrition program. So there was a lot of questions coming through as to why this person was awarded just this tender, and it was only one person. The Department of Basic Education nationally did also confirm that this was the first time they're actually seeing something like this being done. And following that, there's been a lot of developments. We've been trying to speak to Pacina Retail to find out from their side how they failed to deliver food to the schools, but unfortunately, they haven't gotten back to us. But we have been pushing for the Department of Education to provide answers, because even them, they are quite shy into answering the media's questions as to why they awarded this multi-billion rand tender to this company. But today we have heard from the ANC in the province. Unfortunately, the Department of Education was not there. The MEC was also not there. And the secretary did confirm that the contract has been terminated, and they are hoping that food will be delivered to schools by Tuesday, saying that they're going back to the old system for now, where every service provider will go and purchase food and then they'll deliver it to various schools across the province. But earlier on, when the SG did give a briefing, this is what he had to say.
In particular, we've also noted the submissions from the African National Congress Youth League and the Congress of South African Students, COSAS. Following from the above, the ANC has met with the ANC deployee, MEC Mbali Fraser, to go through submissions from the people of this province. She also gave us a feedback based on her assessment of the rollout of the program during visits to a number of schools. After the submission from the MEC, we have agreed that it is evident that the program is near to a total collapse, and drastic measures must be taken. This program is not an act of charity, but a bold step to achieve social justice for the most vulnerable in our society. Therefore, the ANC has evaluated all relevant material facts. It has come to a determination that there are serious breaches resulting in the nullity of the National Schools Nutrition Program. The ANC has therefore directed its government to take urgent remedial action to restore the program that will result in schools getting all the necessary food items based on specified menu for all 5 days in a week. These remedial action must include, but not limited to, the following: that the current contract must be terminated immediately within the framework of the service level agreement; that the department must approach the High Court on urgent basis, seeking that this termination be made an order of the court.
Now, let's talk about this. I mean, has the ANC given any reasons whatsoever why the department changed the old system and awarded the company such a huge tender to a single service provider.
Well, William, according to Lethiwe Mdluli, he is saying that this service provider, which is Pacina Retail, had the capacity before to provide all the schools in KwaZulu-Natal with food. But unfortunately, his relationship, because we do understand that he has a few franchises, a few SPAR stores that he owns, but his relationship along with, his relationship with SPAR rather, it went downhill before they were able to provide food to the schools. And according to Lethiwe Mdluli, he is saying that they know as the ANC that this person had the capacity before and that he owns these SPAR stores across the province and even in the Eastern Cape as well. This is according to the ANC. So this is why the Department of Education then thought it was okay for them to change the old system because they wanted to centralize everything. And in speaking to service providers that are former service providers now, they did share with us that they were told by the departments that they wanted to award the tender to someone who was able to have a warehouse where they could store food that will be provided by the department. And unfortunately, majority of the people that used to work with the departments before did not have the capacity or the warehouse to store this food. So then they chose to give it to one person. But unfortunately, that person has failed because they did not deliver this food. And unfortunately, in trying to get answers from the departments, they ran away from us. But according to Lethiwe Mdluli, this person had capacity before, but unfortunately, the relationship between him and SPAR then went downhill, and he was not able to then provide schools, or rather to provide food to the many schools in the province. While giving that answer, this is what the SG had to say.
Zungu owns SPAR stores, not one. Owns SPAR stores. It's just that we can't mention some of his pastors. I know we have gone to some of his pastors here in KZN. Here, I've just said that letter of SPAR that was not signed that says he doesn't own SPAR stores in KZN. That's nonsense. He owns one of the biggest super SPAR stores in KwaZulu-Natal. Now he owns SPAR stores. It's not even in the Eastern Cape, in big towns. He owns SPAR stores. It's not true that he doesn't own SPAR stores. This guy, because is a franchisee of SPAR. He went to SPAR and partnered with SPAR. And then according to the department, his strength was that he had the support of SPAR in terms of logistics and capacity to deliver. But what happens? Whatever happens between him and SPAR, because it seems after the award, the contract between him and SPAR, the relationship literally collapsed. You see? Then SPAR said, I can't deliver anymore for you. And then you must also pay upfront and all those things. Then it changes the whole landscape.
That's Lethiwe Mdluli there, commenting regarding the awarding of the contract. Lethiwe, my mom was a teacher in 8 north of KZN, right? And she was reporting some time ago that allegedly some of the kids rely on the school feeding scheme food, and that's the only source of food and nutrition that they get, because at home the situation is so dire, there is no food. I imagine now, going into this very long weekend, the kids who have not eaten since the awarding of this contract are absolutely heartbroken.
Of course, William. And, we've been visiting schools over the past 2 weeks since the schools reopened. And we've seen this on the ground. A lot of children depend on the food nutrition program. That's their only meal for the day. And a lot of principals were saying that or questioning why the department would disrupt such a project, because a lot of children in KwaZulu-Natal, especially those areas in the northern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, those are rural areas, and majority of the people there are very poor. So they were questioning, why would you disrupt such a project when you know that children, young people depend on this project for a meal on a daily basis. So I think that's why there's a lot of outcry from the public, from opposition parties, and even from the schools themselves, asking why this program was disrupted. Why didn't this company then, why didn't the department rather pilot this project before even awarding awarding this tender, making sure that this company that they've chosen to award the tender to can actually take up the job. And this question actually came out today during the media briefing. And unfortunately, we didn't really get like a straight answer as to why it wasn't piloted before, just to test the waters whether they can actually deliver on their mandate. And unfortunately, the people on the ground, the people that are mostly affected are those children here in KwaZulu-Natal, and we have learnt of the number. Over 2 million learners depend on this food project.